attacks. There remains intense fighting around Gaza. We continue to see that. The rest of the country right now seems to be calmer, but the intensity of the fighting is real. And we had about 1,000 Hamas militants who infiltrated Israel. Most of them seem to have either been killed or have gone back into Gaza. But as I said, intense fighting remains. So that's the focus. And the focus is also on taking steps to make sure, to the best of their ability for Israel, that this doesn't repeat itself.
Can Israel control Gaza if they go in?
Look, I don't want to get ahead of what Israel may or may not do when it comes to Gaza. What they need to be able to control, one way or another, is, as I said, putting in place measures so that this doesn't happen again. No country should be expected to live with the fear, the possibility, and now the actuality of terrorists crossing a border, coming into people's homes, gunning them down in the street, dragging them across the border, and making hostages of them. That is intolerable for any democracy. It's intolerable for Israel. And one way or another, they're going to have to take steps to make sure that, to the best of their ability, this doesn't repeat itself.
As I discussed with Steve Gander, the U.S. had been making progress in these negotiations with Saudi Arabia and Israel. What happens to that now?
George, it's no surprise that those opposed to the efforts to normalize relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel, and more broadly, to normalize Israel's relations with countries throughout the region and beyond, who opposes it? Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran. So to the extent that this was designed to try to derail the efforts that were being made, that speaks volumes. Right now, the focus is on dealing with this attack, dealing with Hamas. And we'll come to the normalization efforts, which, by the way, are incredibly difficult when it comes to Saudi Arabia and Israel. Lots of hard issues to work through. But if we could get there, that would significantly advance stability in the region. It would offer so many greater prospects for people in all of these countries. And there are basically two paths that are before the region right now. One is the path of normalization, of integration, of people working together. And by the way, in that and on that path, it's not a substitute for resolving the differences between Israelis and Palestinians. On the contrary, it needs to be used to advance that effort as well.
Israel orders complete siege on Gaza to cut off power, food, and fuel supply. So Israel want to cut off everything from Gaza. And if Israel does that, what will happen to the 2.5 plus or minus people living in Gaza? Israel's military ordered a complete siege on the Gaza Strip on Monday, halting entry of food, fuel, and supplies to its 2.3 million people as it pondered the Hamas-ruled territory with waves of airstrikes in retaliation for the militants' bloody weekend incursion. More than 2 days after Hamas launched its surprise attack from Gaza, the Israeli military said it had largely gained control in its southern towns where it had been battling Hamas gunmen. Israel's vented military and intelligence apparatus was caught completely off guard by Hamas, resulting in heavy battles in its streets for the first time in decades. Tanks and drones were deployed to guard bridges in the border fence to prevent new incursions. Thousands of Israelis were evacuated from more than a dozen towns near Gaza, and the military summoned 300,000 reservists, a massive mobilization in a short time. The moves, along with Israel's formal declaration of war on Sunday, pointed to Israel's increasingly shifting to the offensive against Hamas threatening. Israel orders complete siege on Gaza to cut off power, food, and fuel supply, greater destruction in the densely populated, impoverished Gaza Strip. On Sunday, strikes leveled much of the Gaza town of Beit Hammon, which Israel said Hamas was using as a staging ground. On Monday, the Israeli military blew messages to residents to evacuate Ramah, a residential and commercial district of central Gaza City, where offices of the Associated Press and other international media are located, a signal that heavy strikes were to come. A major question remains whether it will launch a ground assault into the tiny Mediterranean coastal territory, a move that in the past has brought intensified casualties. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to destroy the military and governing capabilities of the militant group. Yeah, so Benjamin Netanyahu is going in with full force, and he has vowed to make sure that Hamas never, ever have the opportunity to carry out such an attack. But, as all this is ongoing, my only worry is the people who are going to be caught in the middle, because a lot of atrocities will be carried out. A lot of Israelis military will go in with vengeance in their mind, and they will maybe carry out disproportionate activities on civilians. So the international community must be paying a close look on what is ongoing in Gaza. And as the international community has quickly condemned Hamas for what they have done in Israel, they must be able to hold Israel to account in case Israel commit atrocities that are against international law in Gaza. And according to what we are getting, over 600 Palestinians living in Gaza have been killed. So this is something that everyone must pay a close attention to. But you guys out there, do you think that Israel having a siege on Gaza is the best way to go about this? Do you think that cutting off power and water and also food supply to the 2.3 million people in Gaza will somehow eliminate the threat from Hamas? Shouldn't Western media be talking about the plight of the children in Gaza? Please share your thoughts and opinions with us in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of goodwill, like the one you're doing just now, help us a lot, and we shall ever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.